Bruce Dickinson goes to the dark side, Dave Lombardo's new project, and Deep Purple and Ritchie Blackmore have reunited after more than 33 years. Metal is life and well, so let's see what keeps it going today. Here you go. Bruce Dickinson goes heavy. As I'm more than sure all the regular viewers of this channel know, Bruce Dickinson already has another solo album on the way, with a follow-up to the Mandrake project tentatively coming in early 2027. And this week we found out a bit more about what it will actually be like, with Bruce Dickinson promising that this record will be heavy as shit.
Oh, that's terrible.
According to Bruce, they recorded 16 songs in just 3 weeks, playing them 100% live in the studio with the touring band, something he jokingly described as the anti-AI generation, which it seems like is a running theme of this episode after all. And as we found out last week, an album also featuring a collaboration with his son Austin, and the first taste of it is actually coming as early as this year already, which of course is simply incredible news. But the coolest thing that we found out this week is that this new album will be a completely standalone record, with only one song somewhat connected to the story of the Mandrake project, which apparently is going to live only in the form of a comic book from now on. And on it, Bruce is going to experiment much more so than on pretty much any other record he did before.
Slowly I rise, the walls I built are crumbling.
And here's the thing, I actually trust Bruce on this one, because, well, here's the thing, this will actually be the first Bruce Dickinson album in a very long time without any contributions from the legendary guitarist Roy Z, who of course had a huge impact on the sound of Bruce Dickinson's solo career before that. And without Roy in the band, I am more than sure that Bruce, alongside the other guys in his team, will in fact most likely be taking a completely different musical direction. And so yeah, it may be much heavier than anything we heard Bruce Dickinson doing before. Which, if you ask me, I'm all in for. Here guys, super quick, just simply have to point out that only around 30% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to this channel. So if you're not one of those, and especially if this is not the first video you're watching here, I would really appreciate it if you would consider subscribing right now. Let's continue building this amazing heavy metal community together. Nevermore's new album. Nevermore prepared to go back to the studio, and this week the newly reincarnated band has provided some details about their upcoming studio album, which will be the band's first in over 16 years. So, according to the Nevermore mastermind Jeff Loomis, the demos are now starting to flow, and Loomis himself has around 6 ideas. Some are at the early stages, and some other ones are basically complete songs already. And according to Jeff, the full-fledged work on the new album will actually start this October, with Loomis, although of course being the mastermind behind this project, still wanting all of the new members to contribute as much as they can, even hoping to make it possibly the most collaborative record this band has ever had. And now, this is actually a pretty cool piece of news, because I don't know about you, but I love this new version of Nevermore. And if we do the math, and of course, if the band actually does go to the studio this October, this actually means that we may see the new studio album by Nevermore as early as next spring or summer already. And given the whole fact that it will be the first new album since the Obsidian Conspiracy, released all the way back in 2010, well, this definitely will be one of the most anticipated records of 2027. And here guys, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to all my patrons and all the YouTube channel members. Guys, it is thanks to you and thanks to everyone who purchases Metal Pilgrim merch from around the world that I'm able to release these videos for you amidst all the craziness of living in Ukraine. And there are actually several episodes available exclusive to you already, so definitely check them out if you haven't yet. For the rest of you, just in case if you want to join the community, you can do so with the link in the description to this video. Roasted to Scare. Rose Tattoo's farewell to Europe unfortunately got spoiled after Australian hard rock legends were forced to cancel the remainder of their European run. According to the band's official statement, the decision was made after Rose Tattoo frontman Gary "Angry" Anderson was hospitalized. And unfortunately, at this moment, we have no idea what happened to the 79-year-old rock legend. And all we know is that unfortunately Rose Tattoo had to cancel 9 shows of their tour that started last month and supposed to be their last dance after they earlier confirmed that they will be retiring from touring after 50 years on stage. So, on behalf of all the metal pilgrims around the world, and whether you are a Rose Tattoo fan or not, it doesn't even matter, let's all wish Angry a speedy recovery and hopefully for him to be able to return on stage at least for a final bow. Because he and the band definitely did deserve it.
Play music, babe. That's all I know.
The DEE SNIDER Ozzy Osbourne drama.
It's not the way that I want it, it's just the way that I need it.
This week, things got surprisingly heated between DEE SNIDER and Kelly Osbourne. And in case you guys missed it, it started when Dee discussed Ozzy's songwriting on X, claiming that Geezer Butler wrote all of Black Sabbath's lyrics, that Bob Daisley wrote the lyrics on Ozzy's first 2 solo albums, and pointed also to Lemmy's later contributions. Later on added that he knows too much of the truth that Sharon does not like to share.
Hello there.
And let's just say that, well, Kelly Osbourne did not appreciate any of this. She accused Dee of trying to diminish her late father when Ozzy could no longer respond, questioned how much Dee actually knew about his private career, and then went straight for the throat, saying, "Your last hit was the year I was born over 40 years ago." Ouch! And of course, needless to say that pretty much all of the media around the world simply loved this fight. But here's the thing, guys. I actually don't think that DEE SNIDER was attacking Ozzy Osbourne's legacy at all. I mean, if we're being very honest, he didn't actually say anything wrong. Because yes, Geezer Butler did write the Black Sabbath lyrics, Bob Daisley did write the lyrics for Ozzy Osbourne, and Lemmy Kilmister, who was basically Ozzy Osbourne's best friend, did contribute quite a lot on a bunch of his songs. And pretty much all of Ozzy Osbourne fans do know it, and there's nothing bad in it at all. In addition to that, after Kelly responded, Dee also wrote a statement insisting that he has nothing but love for Ozzy, and explaining that as a songwriter himself, he simply can be a little too touchy about credit and royalties. So yeah, this was, in my opinion, yet another drama that could have A, totally be avoided, and B, was absolutely unnecessary for anyone. And just a reminder, for both camps, that we, heavy metal fans and fans of Ozzy Osbourne, do not really care what anyone says about the legendary musician. And I don't think that anyone can or will ever try to dispute his status as a legend on the world of heavy metal.
This is our life, this is our song.
And now the time has come for your favorite part of the video, so let's take a look at 5 latest metal releases from this week, which, although did not get their own segments in this video, are still definitely worthy of your attention. Mastodon released In the Ruins, their latest single from their upcoming album Marrow Deep, due on August 28th. The song gets particularly personal. Its central idea of not simply getting over grief but learning to grow around it reflects the losses that shaped the new record, including drummer Brian Daylor losing his mother Michelle. That theme runs through Marrow Deep, which Mastodon described as one of the most emotionally charged records of their career, turning profound grief into a story of resilience and solidarity. Gloryhammer released Die With a Sword in My Hand, continuing the story of their upcoming 5th album, Space 1993, Wrath of Kor Virliath, due on October 16th via Napalm Records. The record is a direct sequel to 2015's Space 1992, Rise of Chaos Wizards, this time following Angus MacFive-V on his journey across space-time toward the distant future of 1993. At the point where the new single enters the story, Aberdeen has been overrun by demons, leaving our heroes with little choice but to head into another appropriately ridiculous Gloryhammer battle.
My destiny to fight until I die. My battle cry to destroy the evil. We are gonna fight.
CKY released Beware of the Heartless, featuring a guitar solo recorded by late Mastodon guitarist Brent Hinds. Chad Gainsbourg revealed the track had been sitting unreleased on his computer, but around the first anniversary of Hinds' death, he realized he didn't want to keep something Brent had taking the time to record Locked Away. And it is actually the second CKY song featuring Hinds, following his appearance on Days of Self-Destruction from the Phoenix, making this release a particularly meaningful tribute to their friend. Ghostemane returned with 0 Day, his first officially released new song in almost 6 years, following 2020's The Anti-Icon era. The release follows his return to the stage earlier this month, where Ghostemane debuted several pieces of previously unheard material, yet for now has still not announced a new studio record.
We'll break the next to solitary opposition. We're never holding down, we'll break in submission.
Mental Cruelty released Raise the Raven banner and announced their new album Echoes of a Forlorn Land, due on October 23rd via Century Media. The title isn't just a fantasy imagery. The Raven banner was historically associated with Odin and believed to bring victory and the strength of the Norse god of war, fitting an album whose stories revolve around Odin, Loki, Thor, and other figures from Norse mythology. Musically, the band are expanding beyond their deathcore foundations into an even darker combination of black metal, folk metal, and melodic death metal, with an entire album produced, mixed, and mastered by Jens Bogren.
When the sun has lost its warmth, that's when it's wrong, the sky will be still.
Dave Lombardo's new band. Dave Lombardo goes experimenting, as this week the legendary ex-Slayer drummer announced that he will be joining forces with the modern ambient pioneer Lostmort under the moniker Lostmort Lombardo. And I gotta say that most of the Slayer fans are up for a surprise. So the debut album of this rather interesting duet, titled The Pulse of Atoms, will see the light of day on October 2nd, and as Lostmort explained, the music on the album can't be pointed out as being part of any specific genre or any specific time period. It's the sound of a birth and a death of the universe. No, seriously, I'm just reading the press release.
Yeah, unbelievable.
In addition to that, Lombardo himself pointed out that he's extremely proud of this collaboration because it is so different from anything else that he had done before. Which I very much agree with him. And I gotta say that, although, well, I have no idea whether this is what a birth and a death of a universe sounds like, but I gotta say that the first single off of it, which was released alongside this announcement, is at the very least interesting. So yeah, I am actually rather interested to see what the flip this collaboration will bring to us all. Brian May strikes back.
Another one gone, and another one gone, another one back to dust.
The legendary Queen guitarist Brian May has launched quite a campaign against AI, trying to prove how badly AI sucks. And you know what? I'm totally with Brian on this one.
I'm a robot. I'm just a machine!
In his recent post, May shared a render of the cover of Queen's 8th studio album, The Game, created by an AI as it sees it. And to put it in the nicest words, it was quite poor, with the technology even imagining Queen as a 5-piece band. And in his commentary, May stated that maybe this is time for us to all realize that we don't actually even need AI, with the guitarist asking the UK Prime Minister Annie Berman to stop building data centers that support AI before the price we're about to pay for this becomes inevitably way too high.
I am extremely talented.
And here's the thing, well, I think it's no secret, I'm with Brian May on this one. No, I don't think that AI is inherently bad. No, for a lot of things, and especially for computing purposes, it is actually quite good. But when it comes to creative outputs, no! No! And once again, no! Under any circumstances. And not even because the output that we get with AI, well, mostly sucks, but because A, it's simply piracy, as AI was most likely trained on the work of real musicians who didn't get even a dime for it, and B, well, because of the nature of AI, the whole point of it is that it is not able to create anything new, but rather reshuffle the things that it has actually learned on. And so, well, I know that this conversation is basically as old as it gets, and we keep talking about the same thing over and over again, but I actually do feel that I have a certain obligation that when it comes to any other things, well, I have nothing to say, but when it comes to music specifically, please support real artists and always go for a real thing. Spotify finally does the right thing. And to follow up on the previous segment, not only Brian May fights AI, as this week streaming platform Spotify has finally done a right thing and added yet another feature to help identify all the AI artists.
Are you sure about that?
So, starting from mid-September, the AI-generated music will be labeled as AI persona, and real artists will actually have an opportunity to pursue the Verified by Spotify badge, which will be yet another measure introduced by Spotify this year to distinguish AI-generated content from the real one, after they previously introduced artist profile protection, song DNA section, and the aforementioned Verified by Spotify badge, while they apparently, as they promise, adjust their algorithm to actually push artists over AI-generated content. Which, if it is true, is of course incredible news for all of the fans of real music. And yet another reminder that from now on, no one can say that they didn't know the music they listened to was AI-generated.
Exactly.
The good, the bad, and the Marilyn Manson.
Take your picture at the scene of the crime.
Marilyn Manson is back with his 13th studio album, One Assassination Under God, Part 2. The record featuring 9 tracks, once again co-written and co-produced with Tyler Bates. Completing the second part of the comeback, Manson started with Chapter 1 all the way back in 2024. And you know what the coolest thing about this record? Is that it is extremely old school. No, seriously, there are plenty of dark industrial textures, dirty guitars, and moments that generally remind me of his classic era, without Manson simply trying to recreate an old record. And in my opinion, musically, this is simply an incredible return to form. Even better than the Chapter 1 released several years ago. But unfortunately for him, this comeback actually continues alongside the legal story that has been following him for years. As pretty much all of the Marilyn Manson fans know, his former assistant Ashley Walters is suing him over allegations that he sexually assaulted her in 2010 and subjected her to physical and emotional abuse while she worked for him. Yes, that same case that was previously dismissed, but after changes in California legislations was once again reopened, then nearly dismissed once again, and now reopened once again. And now the latest, now failed attempt by Manson to dismiss the case. This week, LA County Judge has scheduled a civil jury trial for November of 2027 to finally put an end to the what seems to be an endless trial, with Manson's attorney Howard Ken actually maintaining confident that the case will never actually even reach trial because they intend to seek summary judgment. But the bottom line here is that finally, once and for all the legal cases around Marilyn Manson can be put to an end, and it looks like it will be done this autumn already. Oh, and just a little disclaimer, guys, I'm not a judge. I have no idea whether Marilyn Manson is guilty or not. But what I do know is that neither I nor anybody else who has not actually been there has no right to judge anyone based on incomplete information circulating online. Deep Purple reunion. It finally happened! Something that we couldn't even dream of. Something that seemed pretty much impossible just a week ago has finally happened. The legendary Deep Purple reunited with their founding guitar legend, Ritchie Blackmore.
Nice.
So in case you guys didn't open any social media platforms and you have no idea what's going on, the long-awaited reunion happened on August 12th during the Deep Purple show in Wantagh, New York, and marked Blackmore's first appearance together with Deep Purple since 1993. So for over 33 years! And of course, the guys played that one song that pretty much everyone on this planet does know. As Deep Purple's frontman Ian Gillan explained on stage, a couple of days before the show, he got a letter from Blackmore, who wrote that he lives right next to the place where the show will take place, and simply asked if he can come and jam together with the band. Just like that! After which the guys decided to put their over 30-year-long dispute behind them, resulting in one of the most epic reunions in the world of rock and roll. Like ever. Here's the thing, guys. I have to point out that, well, Deep Purple actually means the world to me. It was the favorite band of my late father, and it was one of the bands that introduced me to the world of rock and metal. So for me, well, I don't care what anyone says. Deep Purple were always the hard rock band. Like, no offense to all the Led Zeppelin fans. And of course, their founding member, Ritchie Blackmore, did contribute quite a lot to them gaining that status. So here, I don't even care what anyone says, and I don't care how many people will unsubscribe after this. But to me, the whole fact that an 81-year-long guitar legend was able to come on stage, and the whole fact that all the boys decided to put their differences aside for that one night, which, by the way, it looks like they did continue in a bar afterwards, just by itself makes it one of the most epic nights in recent rock history. So if either of you are as good as Ritchie Blackmore when you are 81 years old, then you can come back and post your hate comments about Ritchie online. And before that, just enjoy the history being made. And by the way, who knows? If the boys were able to put all their differences aside after 30 years of everything that was between them, well, given how productive Deep Purple are, who knows what it might result in a couple of years, right?
We found a member, the great legend, the immortal Ritchie Blackmore.
But anyways, what new music did you listen to this week? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like it, comment under it, spread the word about this channel, and subscribe to it, of course. And of course, join our communities on Instagram, X, Threads, Discord, Facebook, and anywhere else you can post content these days. I actually post quite different content on different social media platforms. But most importantly, thank you so much for all your support, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!